Hello, this is Jen Mitchell Love from Solace Divorce Mediation. This video is for all of you spouses out there who are not wanting to get divorced when your spouse has shared that they want to get a divorce. And I have been a family law attorney for 19 years. I can share that this scenario of one person driving it forward and the other person not wanting it, this presents in 98, 99% of divorces. And my heart does go out to you because you are tasked with emotionally catching up to your spouse, your spouse who has shared the news that they would like to get a divorce. That person has been processing this for a while now, when they're sharing with you. It's not the first time that they've thought about this. They've had time to think about it. And most commonly, when it came up the first time for your spouse, they're probably like, what is going on? I have no idea why I'm even thinking this. Divorce? What? Who? Me? No. And they've had a lot of time to really sort through everything and get to a space of speaking their truth to you in sharing that they want a divorce. And so my strongest guidance for you, and I'm sending this from my heart space to you with so much love and so much intentionality to help you really accept what is happening, is for you to stop thinking about your spouse. Don't think about your spouse right now. Don't ask yourself the questions that are going to drive you crazy of like, why doesn't she want to be married to me anymore? Why doesn't he love me anymore? Why don't they think that we can go to therapy and get back? That's going to drive you insane, is asking yourself all of these questions about your spouse, because the truth of it is your spouse is saying and doing everything that your spouse is saying and doing right now, and it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with your spouse's journey, and your spouse is following their inner guidance and truth and sharing with you, I want to get a divorce. So for you, my loves, a way that you can help, shift out of potentially depression or despair or anger, or any space that is not serving you and serving the marriage space, and if you have children, your family and your children, is for you to stop thinking about your spouse and start thinking about you, and ask yourself. And I do all of my deep soul work in nature, which is a natural alchemist and can help quiet the noise and calm the programs, where the programs are what we've been raised to believe marriage is, family is, parenting is, divorce is. Nature can quiet all of that. And I encourage you to really ask yourself, do I want to be in a relationship and in a marriage with someone who is telling me that they don't want to be with me in that space? And of course, the answer to that is no. No, you don't. None of us want to be in a relationship where we are not giving, receiving what we are giving and feeling loved. And really ask yourself, do I want to be in a marriage with someone who's telling me that they don't love me anymore that way? In the space of marriage, romantic love, they don't love me that way anymore. Do I want to be married to someone who's sharing that with me? And again, the answer to that, of course, no. None of us want to be in a relationship with someone who is telling us they don't romantically love us anymore. And then I want you to ask yourself, what kind of partner do I want? What kind of spouse do I want? And really ask yourself that, and give yourself the permission to ask yourself that question. And ask, what are you doing together? What are you guys talking about? How does it feel? How does it feel when you're on dates? Where are you going on dates? Are you traveling? What does it all look like? And really get to that space of like, okay, wait a minute. My spouse is saying that they don't want to be married anymore. I'm like resisting, resisting, resisting. No, I want to stay married. But really, your spouse's truth, sharing their authenticity, their authentic truth, your spouse sharing that to you, which is not easy. It is not easy for your spouse to do that. It really is not easy. It's disrupting so many things. It's not an easy space, and your space isn't easy either, in that space of emotionally catching up to where your spouse is to get to the place of acceptance. And what I'm encouraging you to do is to recognize that that truth that your spouse shared with you, it really is a gift. I know it might not feel like that right now. I know it might not feel like that right now, but I can tell you from being a family law attorney for 19 years now that there are many people in this world who do not speak that truth to their spouse. And then those people who are feeling that way, who can't speak their truth with their spouse, they start living their own lives. They have different partners, they're doing different things, they're going out and about and whatever they're doing, and their spouse has no idea. And so it is a gift when your spouse is honest with you, and you are also being guided in your journey, which I know may sound really difficult too, but you are. This person has shared this truth, and everything is changing for you. And you are being guided in your journey. You're being moved forward to where you are meant to be. You know, there's more people to experience. There's more experiences to experience, you know, and I promise you, while this is so hard right now, this will make sense. This will make sense someday. There will be a day in the future where you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, of course, like, of course that had to happen exactly the way it did when it did. Because if it didn't happen in this time, I wouldn't have gone here and met this person, or this wouldn't open for me. And so I'm sharing with you, it will make sense. It doesn't make sense right now. That is okay. It will make sense. And the way for you to best navigate through is take really good care of yourself and focus on you. Focus on what you want and what you need, and recognize that there's so many different types of relationships and so many forms of love, and you can choose what relationship and what space of love feels best for you and for your partner. And I am sending you much love as you navigate this space. I know you can do it, and I am sending you loving energies as you really step into the space of releasing the attachment to something that is not serving you and allowing yourself to shift into a space that feels good and becoming the co creator of your dream life. Sending you much love.